I just found out I'm retarded.
Bruh.
What a way to start my morning, huh? Mm. Good morning to you guys. Hope we're a good afternoon or whatever. Hope you guys are doing well. I just got the news last night that I'm retarded. Now, I'm sure you guys are probably wondering, well, hey, Jose, we'd already thought you were retarded this whole time. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I was. That was kind of like the whole awakening, I guess, I had yesterday. Yesterday, I was just going through the internets, the YouTubes, all that stuff, and I came across this term called retardmaxing. And I'm like, man, what is this? What could this all be about? This is very curious, right? What are these kids talking about these days, huh? And when I did my research on what retardmaxing was, I was like, oh, well, wait a minute. I've been retarded for a very long time. I've been retardmaxing for decades before it was a thing. I'm an OG retard maxer, I guess. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably wondering, well, what is retard maxing? Well, for all you older folks out there, I guess the best way to explain it to you is if you guys ever remember Seinfeld, you guys remember George Costanza? I don't know if you guys remember that episode where George Costanza decided to do the opposite of everything, and all of a sudden everything just went awesome for him. It was just like the best thing that he could have done. Well, that's basically kind of it. It's basically in layman terms, what you're doing is that you stop questioning yourself, you stop thinking about what could be, what should be, what's going to happen, and all this stuff, and you just do what a retard would do, and just do it, and just go with it. Just make the decision. Ask the girl out. Jump on the plane, sell your stuff, and start the business. Whatever it is you got to do. Everybody's a little different. And for me, well, I've been retard maxing for a long time. In fact, it started, I want to say about 15 years ago, give or take, when I left Miami. Again, I'm born and raised in Miami, Florida. Some of you guys know my past, my whole history. It's on the channel. You guys can check it out if you want. But anywho's, that's when my whole retardation really started. I mean, if I really look back in my life, I mean, I've been doing retarded stuff, ever since high school. And what is retarded stuff? Well, basically, in the sense of the way I looked at it, is that, there was a set of rules set by society. And, it depends on who you were out there. Well, depends on how you played by those rules, right? And so I grew up in Miami, in a place where I saw people play by the rules and not do so well. And I saw other people also play by the rules and do very well. And it's all about the perception, of morality and what's right or wrong and all this other stuff. But, the point I'm making is that I knew fully well a long time ago that, nice guys do finish last. And, I'm the nicest guy in the world. You guys have, some of you guys have met me in person or what have you. But again, I don't want to speak for myself. You guys can do that for me. But again, actions speak louder than words, right? But the point I'm making is that, I'm the nicest guy, but I'm also an asshole, and the reality is that it's because a lot of people consider me an asshole or just not a nice guy, just because I don't go with the flow. I usually, go the other way. A lot of people will call it contrarian. A lot of people would say I'm a black sheep. A lot of people would say I go against the grain. There's a lot of things, to describe this, right? But the reality is that, these days, the way that the kids say it is called retarded. You're just being retarded. And that means that you're not doing exactly what you're being told to do. You're just doing what you feel is right, what you want to do in the moment, and so on and so forth. And these days, I feel like a lot more people are kind of hinging towards this because, well, society has been failing us so much lately what prompted me really to do this video has been like a multitude of things. As you guys know, I'm trying a bunch of new things here on the channel. And I think we're going to be doing these videos going forward on the channel. Let me know what you think down below, what you think about these videos. Then I'm thinking about having like kind of like a almost daily morning chat. All right, talking about whatever's on my mind. Hopefully you guys can share what's on your mind down below in the comments, and we can have a conversation together about all these things. Because, like I said, there was a bunch of things that have been kind of, that kind of prompted me to start making these videos. This is the first one of many. It's because simply, as I was saying, with the whole Epstein, I didn't say it was in my mind, but a bunch of things kind of prompted me to make this, start making these videos. But one of them, kind of like, I guess, like the what is it, like the last hair on the straw or what have you, the last what was the Epstein thing, because it's just the fact that okay, now everybody knows what a lot of us have known for years, and no one's going to do anything about it. At the end of the day, that's kind of like where we're at. And so what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Are you going to sit there and play their game, play by those rules, live in that world? Or are you going to create your own world, a better world, something, a better future for yourself, something that, again, look, for example, I live out here in Mexico, all right, living my beautiful, amazing life. You guys see it on my other channels, right? I'm not affected by any of the insanity that's going to happen over there, no matter what happens. I knew a lot of what was going to happen. A lot of what's going on now, I knew at some point was going to happen. I didn't want it to happen, but it happened. And again, in my retardation, some people would have, some people called it back then paranoia or whatever, right? Other words. That's kind of what prompted me to eventually leave the country and move out here to Mexico, for example, right? Again, a lot of people moved to different countries for similar reasons. But I knew one day, this was going to come. This was going to happen. The piper, all right, was going to pipe. And here we are, you know what I mean? And it's like, so many people are scrambling. So many people don't know what to do. So many people, they're flooded with so much information, so many things, and yet no solutions to anything. And I hope that these daily talks and everything I'm going to start doing here can help whoever the hell is out there on the other end of the video finally do what they got to do and start, whatever you want to call it, all right? You want to start doing the opposite of everything. You want to, retard max. You want to go your own way. Remember that? I don't know if you guys remember those, going your own way type of thing. But there's many things that you can do. All right. And that's what we're going to be talking about here. The fact that, I don't know. I started doing YouTube a long time ago, again, 10 years ago. And I don't know what I was doing. I was helping a friend with a project. And he asked me, hey, do you know how to work a camera? And I said, yes, because I did. Because of my past when I was growing up with that. But again, another story for another day. And, I helped them with the project, went back, to the editing room, to the computer, and started editing. And before I knew it, I fell in love with it. I was like a kid with Legos all over again. And, from that moment on, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I don't know how I was going to do it, what I was going to do. I just knew I wanted to do something. And it took many years, before I started to really figure out what I was supposed to be doing here on YouTube, my voice and that whole thing. And, throughout the years, believe it or not, I've lost that. And what we're doing here is not just for you, but for me as well. We want to get back to basics. When I really first hit it on YouTube, when I guess made it big on YouTube, again, just a few hundred subscribers, a lot of dedicated viewers. That was before I moved to Mexico. That was like over 8 years ago. And it was me talking about, conspiracies, all these things that, well, again, everybody knows these days. And if you don't know, why are you watching my channel? Why are you watching me? Why are you whatever? So, it was about that. And, I was a little, got my little audience, of like-minded individuals. And eventually I moved to Mexico. And I moved to Mexico and I kept doing those videos. But all of a sudden, I was also documenting my life out here. And that really started to get more views and allowed me to basically finance my life out here. Basically I was able to monetize and live off of making YouTube videos. But in a way I lost my voice because I was talking about, life in Mexico. Yes, it's obviously from my perspective and it's very different from other YouTubers out there and so on and so forth. And I talk about all kinds of topics that most people don't talk about, but that's not the point. The point is that I lost my voice because how I originally really found my voice on YouTube was by doing videos like this and by doing content like this. And, if you go back to my first early videos back then when I was in LA, doing these out of a room that I was renting, they're terrible, they're terrible. I mean, they're humbling. I keep them up, most of them, because it's, it's history, I got to keep them up there. But they're humbling in a sense because, yeah, they're terrible. But yet, I was still able to get my message across. And so now, so many years later, again, since that date, it's been 8 years, and I've been refining, my whole voice and, how I do videos and just everything on YouTube, right? And I'm like, man, like I said, when I saw the whole retardmaxing thing, I was like, oh man, that's it. I gotta get back to this, to talking to you guys, having real conversations. And again, I know you guys have real problems, so we're going to talk about those things here. And, please feel free to share your thoughts, your situation, whatever. We'll talk about it. Because that's the thing. I want to create a space here, for, again, like-minded individuals to, finally, again, break free from that matrix. I know most of us have, but you're still tied down in one shape, form, or another. You haven't figured out what retardmaxing is, or maybe you have. I don't know. Maybe you forgot about it, like I did. And, the whole retardmaxing thing, that's what got me everything I've gotten. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly good. The life that I live. Again, I'm 44 years old, and I live a life that a lot of people wish they could live. And when I moved to Mexico, I was 36, going on 37, and 6'7", and I, before that, I had already started my adventure. When I moved to Seattle and I did all these things that I was doing, and I was really living life, and that's why I continued that journey. That again, it was just going with my gut, trying to live out my fantasies, my dreams. I did a lot of that. I've done a lot of that. And I remember, again, when I was younger, like in my late 20s, early 30s, and I was still working, 12-hour plus shifts in the kitchen. And thinking to myself, man, can I do this for another 30 plus years? Think about it, like it's a hard life, right? Like imagine like an athlete, playing into his 60s. I'm not no Tom Brady, I'll tell you that. So with that said, I was already thinking to myself, man, this is not the life I want to live. I want to keep living. It was great for a while, but this is not really what I want to do. And that struggle, and eventually breaking free from that, and never wanting to go back to that ever again. And I did that just by betting on myself. Okay. Not being comfortable I was already extremely uncomfortable doing something I hated. So why not roll the dice, right, on myself? I was already used to uncomfortableness. I was already used to struggle. I was already used to all these things. So it's like, why not? And I did it. And I not only helped myself, but I helped so many people along the way. Again, this is even before I started YouTube. And again, this is also what prompted me to really just get on YouTube, because a lot of my really good friends were the ones that basically, told me to get on YouTube, get my voice on YouTube. And, I want to quote Drake real quick, because the reason I'm doing this video and I'm here right now doing this is because, as Drake said, oh, my friends told me I fell off. Ooh, I needed that. And that's basically it. You know what I mean? Like, not just my friends. Shout out to you know who you are out there. Just kind of reminded me, man. Like I said, with a bunch of other things going on in my life at the moment, and it's like, yeah, man, we gotta get back to this. Speaking of my friend out there, today, this morning, we're having some zins and some coffee. Normally, I would have my, coffee flavored zins, but today, it's a Saturday morning. It's a little late in the day already. We're doing this new project, new endeavor. I felt, you know what, let's go with the citrus today. All right, so we're gonna be doing this. We're gonna be doing all kinds of different things here. All right, as you guys know, I smoke as well. The magic herbs. We got our coffee. We're gonna whatever. So today, got me a nice yummy citrus zin. Shout out to them and all that good stuff. Shout out to my friend out there that loves them zins as well. Anywho's, but yeah, that's the thing. Like, to me, it's we're just gonna get back to the basics. That's what we're gonna be doing here on this channel. I think that we're gonna stick to the live streams. We're gonna be doing, again, the live streams not on a weekly basis. We're gonna be doing them from time to time. Maybe even change up the format during the live streams in a sense, but whatever. We're still gonna do those. I know you love them, but we're gonna be doing these videos. All right. I'm gonna try my very best to do daily videos, but because at one point when I first got on YouTube, that's what I did. So, but that's not the point. The point is that we're at the very least, we're gonna try and, get as many videos out throughout the week. We're gonna have these conversations. That's what this channel is gonna be about. All right. And again, you guys know I got my cooking channel. I think on the cooking channel, we're gonna stick to the vlog type stuff and the cooking and all that fun stuff over there. And then on my Living in Mexico channel, you already know, we're going to keep doing everything we're doing over there, but we're also going to incorporate more of the vlog style, kind of behind the scenes, whatever, all that fun stuff. So, we're still doing all that stuff that I've been starting to do this year to kind of switch it up a little bit. But I think maybe on this channel, it might be best to do these videos and just keep the vlogs and all that other stuff on the other channels. And not that I want to say, this is a more serious channel, but I feel like it is. And I want to kind of encompass that a little bit more here. The other channels are more fun, and you guys already know what the other channels are about. But on this channel, it's more serious topics. Again, there's all these crazy things happening out in the world. Again, I was watching some video, this guy talking about these things. Anyways, and he was just made a great point, like where it's like, people, like microplastics, and people are, freaking out. Oh, I got microplastic in my balls. Yeah, so what? We all got microplastic in our balls. Who cares? I'm out here taking my Zins. They say these things are bad for you. I think they're great. Drinking my coffee, smoking my weeds, doing whatever, right? And again, of course, all in moderation. But that's the thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you think a retard is, or anyone else out there that's really doing anything with their life is really caring about all those things? Look at Anthony Bourdain, for example, one of my heroes, one of the people I look up to, and a lot of the reasons I do what I do as well, right? He had this great quote, which is something that I live by. And I hope you guys, hopefully consider it. But, we're always told that, our body is a temple, right? And you got to treat it like a temple and, all that stuff, right? But I don't know, the way I look at it, your body is more like an amusement park, and treat it as such. And so is life. And go out there and do stuff. Go out there and live life, go out there and eat food, try things, experience things. Get out of your comfort zone. Comfort is the killer of dreams. If you're stuck right now, it's because you're too comfortable. All right? I was getting too comfortable. Again, that's why I'm here. Got to get uncomfortable all over again. And, man, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so much looking forward to doing these. I'm not going to lie. I thought this was going to be a little bit more difficult before I started filming today. Because, again, I film all the time. And, these other videos that I do, there's a bit of a kind of like a brainstorming and a script and all this stuff that goes behind it, right? In order to make good videos for you guys to watch. I'm talking about, like the Mexico channel, for example, right? Or, and even the cooking channel. But again, I'm realizing that in order for me to make really awesome stuff that I want to make and I want to enjoy doing, and also, again, my whole main mission and main purpose in life is to help people. Is to help people that want to be helped. And this is why I'm just doing this. That's it, because I got to do it. And but anyways, what I was getting at is like it's so much easier. I thought it was going to be a lot more difficult, and I was going to be, taking multiple takes and blah blah blah. But it's like a fish to water. In fact, I literally, as I'm talking to the camera, talking to you guys, I'm reminiscing. I'm remembering when I first started doing this, like this style, doing this stuff back in Los Angeles. And just barely clinging onto my dream like a retard. And look, guys, again, I know I've told my story multiple times and yada, yada, yada. But again, and I think I've told some of you guys, again, this little nugget, but I'll tell you guys right here. The real reason, the real reason I moved to Mexico was because I was living in LA, barely surviving, working Uber, doing, odd jobs here and there, but just trying to keep the dream alive of making videos and all that stuff, doing a lot of videos for free, for almost nothing, but just because I wanted to keep doing it. And then, uploading videos to YouTube definitely for free, for nothing, right? And no monetization, way back then. And I was doing daily videos, right? Just uploading things like this, talking my thoughts, right? About Bitcoin or conspiracy or the lizard people, whatever, right? And all of a sudden, I was in a situation where I had to give up my dream, go back to work, and even live out of my car, live on the street. And I'm like, man, fuck that shit. Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? I'm having so much fun enjoying this and doing this. I got to figure out a way where I can go somewhere where my cost of living is very little in order for me to continue doing these videos and hopefully, being able to one day live off of it and, do my thing. Anyways, and so I just went full retard. And I was trying to move to different spots, in the middle of nowhere, USA, everywhere, right? And long story short, again, you guys know my story. I ended up here in Mexico. And it was the best decision of my life, coming out here. And it was all because I just went full retard. It was all because of my dream to make YouTube videos, to make daily YouTube videos and things like that. So, and then when I got here, that's what saved me too. In order for me, again, back then there was no information, no other YouTubers out here, there was nothing. It was just like how traveling was done back in the day. You just kind of went on a whim and figured it out. And me having the camera with me and filming and documenting the whole thing was very cathartic and helped me as much as it was helping my audience. It was growing. And again, it was all just because I went full retard. I just went full, hey, I'm going to do this stupid dream, making videos of just betting on myself. What's the worst that can happen? And a lot of things happen, good, bad, ugly throughout the years. But at the end of the day, I sit here and I'm smiling and I'm happy And I've come full circle. And as I'm making like the videos on the cooking channel, I'm like, man, these are the videos that I was making originally 10 years ago when I first started YouTube. As I'm doing these videos now, I'm like, man, this is what really kind of got me started for reals, like 8 years ago, and so on and so forth. And man, I'm just very excited. I don't know if you guys can tell, but well, whatever. I'm always excited, right? Like a puppy in a sense, right? But it's because I'm happy for life. I'm excited about life. I'm grateful of everything, you know, all the bad stuff that I had to go through in order to get here. It was totally worth it. Because I was trying to hint at it earlier, but I know I keep skipping over it. But I was going to say that back when I was a lowly cook and I was hating life and I was dreaming of a better life, this is the life I was dreaming about. And I didn't know how I was going to get there. But for whatever reason, I went full retard after I got fired from the Harvest Vine, okay? The last restaurant I ever worked in Seattle, Washington. When I got fired from that place, I just went full retard. I was already in full retard mode because I had already moved to Seattle and started all over again. But at that point, I was like, I just kept going more retarded and more retarded. And like I said, this is like how I ended up here. But just going full retard, you know, just not giving a crap about what anyone or anything said or society or anything like that. I just knew what I wanted. How about this? Not necessarily that I knew what I wanted per se. It's not like I pictured this exact, you know, life or dream. It's not that. It was more like I knew what I didn't want. That's what I knew. I definitely knew that. And I knew what I didn't want. And I just went the opposite. So I knew I didn't want this life. So I did the complete opposite. Okay, so I didn't know. I knew I didn't want the life that I had, and so I was doing things that were giving me that life. So in order for me not to have that life anymore or live that life anymore, I had to do the complete opposite, and I did, and I've been doing that ever since, in a way. And even every time I kind of revert, kind of going back close to that again, I always end up coming back full circle, full retard. I always end up going, you know, I always end up going full retard. And it is what it is. It's fine. It's fine because it's like, to me, it's like, I'm so happy and so glad that I'm stuck in this retarded loop because it's just doing the complete opposite of what I'm supposed to do and just doing what I know I'm supposed to do. You know, I'm just doing what I know I'm supposed to do. I'm not doing what society or others say I'm supposed to do. And apparently that makes me retarded. Maybe that makes you retarded too. Or not. Maybe you got to learn how to get that inner retard out. Man, I don't remember the last time I said that word retarded so many times. And, you know, we'll see how this video does on YouTube. You know, hopefully it does well. But either way, it doesn't matter. We're going to try again tomorrow. We're going to try again the next day. We're going to keep trying. And we're going to keep uploading videos and see how this goes. So, all right, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's conversation, hanging out with me today. Let me know what you guys think. And I hope, you know, to be back here on a regular basis, sharing my thoughts, talking to you guys, you know, talking about your thoughts and so on and so forth, and just continuing the conversation and all that good stuff. Again, please don't forget to check out my other channels. Check out my website. Check out all the links. If you want, you don't have to. It's all free. All right, so... All right, well, with that being said, it's time for me to get out of here. So, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much for joining me for this conversation. And I really hope to see you guys here in the next one. So, thanks again for hanging out with me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.